What does it mean that Musk announced the death of XAI while simultaneously reconciling with its rival? XAI will be dissolved as an independent company, so it will simply be SpaceX AI, SpaceX's AI product. This tweet from Musk marked the end of XAI, which had been established for less than 3 years. On the same day, SpaceX also announced a partnership with Anthropic. The latter will utilize all the computing power of SpaceX's Colossus One. While announcing the demise of his own AI company, he simultaneously shook hands with his arch-rival. It's worth noting that just this February, Musk was publicly mocking Anthropic's models as evil, yet only a few months later, a partnership was reached, and Anthropic became a respectable adversary. Everyone I met at Anthropic was incredibly capable and very concerned with doing the right thing. How did XAI end up like this? In July 2023, Musk announced the existence of XAI, claiming it aimed to build a system that maximally seeks truth and understands the true nature of the universe. The team was top-notch, recruiting top talent from OpenAI, DeepMind, and Tesla.it hath money, data, and computing power. From its inception, it had direct access to massive amounts of real-time data from Musk's social media platform, X, formerly Twitter. It intercepted tens of thousands of Tesla's H100 graphics cards. It built Colossus, the world's largest single computing cluster, in 122 days, and it raised over $42 billion in funding, reaching a valuation of $230 billion. It was a winning start. Despite its numerous resource advantages, its core model, Grok, couldn't compete with OpenAI and Anthropic in terms of coding capabilities. Behind this lies a conflict between XAI's researchers and Musk's management style. Under high-pressure tactics, the entire founding team resigned. But the departure of key personnel was merely a symptom. The deeper crisis lay in XAI's continued slowdown in the large-scale model race. Therefore, Musk made a decision that was quintessentially Musk: start from scratch. Just like with the Tesla Roadster and FSD, full self-driving, if it doesn't work, rebuild and start again. However, rebuilding XAI takes time. For data centers, every day of idleness represents a huge waste of resources, not to mention the continuous influx of computing power in the future. The massive computing cluster and the urgent need to rebuild their own large-scale models created a striking irony, ultimately leading Musk to choose to lease out the computing power he possessed. How massive was Colossus One? Over 220,000 NVIDIA H100 graphics cards, 300 megawatts of computing power. Just sitting there, idle for a day, would burn through astronomical sums of money. Anthropic was precisely lacking computing power. What Google and Amazon provided wasn't enough, and they urgently needed large-scale expansion. Thus, they quickly reached an agreement. Musk, to turn idle computing power into cash, alleviate pressure on data centers, and create a revenue case for SpaceX's IPO. Anthropic, to acquire top-tier computing power, solve speed bottlenecks, and reduce over-reliance on Google Cloud and AWS. So, where did XAI go after its disbandment? The answer is, it became SpaceX AI. According to Guo Tao, a special expert at the Fourth Wave Technology think tank and an AI expert, Musk's decision to disband XAI and reorganize it into SpaceX AI allows him to integrate XAI's algorithmic capabilities with SpaceX's rocket and satellite resources, accelerating the realization of concepts like space data centers and orbital AI computing power, thus establishing a technological barrier in the space economy competition. This is his true ultimate goal. Not to compete with OpenAI and Anthropic on large-scale models, but to directly elevate the level and become the computing power foundation for future AI. However, there's a foreshadowing here. Tesla's humanoid robot project, Optimus, previously XAI's Grok model, served as the core commander navigator, responsible for high-order logical reasoning and global understanding. In other words, Grok's underlying model capabilities directly determined the future commercial ceiling of the Optimus project. Now that XAI has become Space XAI, Grok's own model iteration and the long-term task of exploring orbital AI computing power remain the team's responsibilities. From building the Colossus Data Center, the world's largest single computing power cluster, to dissolving as an independent company, from a valuation that once reached $230 billion to having all its computing power leased out. SpaceX AI took only 2 years. Whether SpaceX AI can achieve a similar turnaround as Tesla's FSD remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Musk has never withdrawn from the AI battle. He has simply chosen a more stable, profitable, and long-term approach to continue controlling the future.